How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Those that watch the channel remember this 2009 Ford F-350. Purchased this truck about a month ago up in Neenah, Wisconsin. Finally got all my paperwork squared away. Title is in hand. Truck is ready to sell. All that's left to do is turn this thing fresh out of its work clothes into something presentable enough to take pictures of and get it gone. Stay tuned. All things considered, this truck is going to be a very, very easy cleanup. If you guys remember the red F-250 that we did, that truck had all the lettering still in its place on the doors. Probably take about the same amount of time to do this one. The main focuses are going to be like the unit numbers, the residue that's left over from their logos, and then all the small little safeties. I don't really do too much on the utility bodies on these. I will for sure be leaving that silver reflective stripe. Those do not come off well. We're gonna play it by ear with these like weight numbers and things like that. It's actually really not the end of the world if we leave some of that stuff. If I can peel these off, I will. And then more unit numbers. I believe there's some on the crane. I don't know if I'll even care to do that, but we're just going to pretty much get this thing back to a blank slate for the next guy. Wash it up. I'll probably either power wash it here or just run it into town. Outside of that, I don't think this truck needs anything. It sat for just shy of 3 weeks. I didn't start it. I didn't move it or anything. Fired right up. No intake manifold or no exhaust manifold clicking, no noise. This thing is super nice. It's a 3-valve 6.8 V10. It's got just over 200,000 miles on it. I think it's sitting at like 208 right now. Good tires. Drives really nice. Obviously, it's got the crane. So we're going to go ahead and beauty this thing up real quick. As always, we're going to keep it real simple. We got our 3M pinstripe remover wheel on a drill. We've got our 3M 38987 specialty adhesive remover. Just had to finally buy a fresh can of that. I think I had about 10 or 15 trucks on the last one. Regular razor blade for glass, plastic razor blade for paint, and a fresh supply of microfibers. Let's get after it. So here's our finished product. Turned out pretty good. Sometimes if guys aren't careful, when the people they're paying to take these stickers off, they can really botch a door. But this truck looks amazing. I got pictures taken of it, and it's up for sale. It's been for sale for about 3 hours, and I already have a fair bit of interest in it. So you'll probably actually get to see this go from start to finish in one video. Got it washed up pretty decent. Yeah, actually went and washed all my trucks. I hadn't washed this thing since the day after that the hot shotter dropped it off. God, I love this color. This thing's gonna look great with tinted windows and some nicer wheels. I need to do some touch up because like I just said about people botching pulling the decals off, there was a decal there, and you'll probably be able to see it. See how it's shiny and then not quite as shiny? There's a rectangular decal there. They peeled the paint off when they pulled the logo. So 10 out of 10 would rather me be the one to do it. But this thing turned out great. There isn't a ding or a dent in this damn truck. Pardon me if I sound like crap, but somehow I made it all winter without getting sick, and now that it's 85 degrees out, I feel like crap. What you just saw was the truck driving away. It is Friday morning. Monday, I posted the truck for sale around 8 o'clock at night. By I think, yeah, that evening, I actually had somebody reach out for the city that I live in and say, hey, we might be interested in this for our water department. Is there any way that you could bring it by? It's like 5 minutes away. I'm like, yeah, I'll hop in it and have you guys come take a look at it the next time I head into town. So Tuesday morning, I drove it into town, had them look at it. They loved it. They're going to use it with the crane to pull like shallow wells that we have around here. So they looked at it, plugged their scanner in. They couldn't find anything they didn't like, and there really wasn't anything for them to dislike about it. So let us think about it. Like 2 hours later, they messaged me. They're like, we'll take it for asking price of $13,990. I just made over $10,000 on that truck. It's not a brag. It's not anything. This happens. It's happened to me before. This happens like once every year and a half. You'll just get that one that just knocks it out of the park. And then it's usually surrounded by a lot more effort to make a lot less money, or even losing. I lost on a fair bit of vehicles over the past 2 years just as the market's been so unstable. Let's take a quick look at the breakdown of the costs and what we actually made on this thing. So here's just a quick handwritten breakdown. These are our fees for the truck itself. Purchase price of $2,700. Buyer premium at 12% of $324. Tax $157.45. Title $165. And then this admin fee is actually from the auction company. I should have moved that up under the buyer premium for $125. I always calculate 10 miles to the gallon for when I'm hauling. Probably did a little bit better going to get that just using my small trailer, but I just average it out to that. It was a 320 mile round trip. The fuel that I've been buying is rated $3.29 a gallon, so we spent $105.28 in diesel. And then plus or minus 10 bucks for cleaning supplies. That's just for that 3M adhesive remover, my remover wheels, all that. It's just a fee that I just kind of tack on to everything. So our grand total investment into the truck, $35.86 and 73 cents. We sold it for $13,990 with a $10,403.27 profit. And I'm sitting in front of the bank right now going to deposit this check. So like I said, that is not something that normally happens where you can make that kind of a profit margin with that type of investment. I do well on a lot of the stuff that I buy. It's not uncommon for me to make $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 on an item. It's usually not something that I have less than $4,000 into. Like I said, it happens. I've done it before. The most notable one I can think of, I bought an 07 F550 as a non-runner for like $2,200 and cleaned it up. It needed an IPR valve and just some other little odd and end stuff. I think I got $12,000 or $13,000 for that truck too, but it does not happen regularly. Doing this consistently enough, though, it will happen. And having those types of wins, especially early on, if you're really like paying attention and checking out every last little thing, you'll find those deals, and those deals are what can really leapfrog you from like having to work another job to being able to do something like this full time. When I started out doing this, I was like a process engineer at a plastic injection factory, pretty much setting up injection molding machines for production. And I've always bought and sold stuff, but when I left that job and went out full time on this, I was buying and selling things and taking 100% of the profits and just throwing it right back into the bank. And I built up an account to where I could buy a fair bit of inventory at once. I've had this truck sitting for over a month, and you know, if that's the only thing you have, if I don't have 8 or 10 other vehicles where, you know, every 3 or 4 days I'm getting a title, this, that, you can just constantly have stuff going, it's hard to make it work. I'm going to be shooting a video or finishing up a video on on a lot of stuff that I purchased from that auction in Union Grove where I took those lawnmowers. I bought 4 trucks out of there, and I was lucky enough that I could get those titles pretty well instantly, and 3 of the 4 of those are gone. So it's been a really busy week. I've moved 4 vehicles and a bunch of like other support equipment and upfitter stuff, fuel tanks, stuff like that came out of those trucks. So solid win, more money in the bank for more purchases, which coming up here pretty soon. It's busy now. It's gonna keep going. I did buy already the slightly newer version of this truck that we just sold. It's from the exact same company. It is a regular cab, 9-foot cab chassis, same body, same utility body, same crane, but it is a 2012 with a 6.2 V8 gas and 4-wheel drive. It came with doesn't look like it was ever used, 9.2 Boss V-plow. Looks to be a really nice truck. It needs a transfer case, so that's probably the direction this channel is going to go in for the foreseeable future, is actually finally having to do some mechanical work. I have a 03 Silverado from Colorado that needs a transmission replacement. I have an 05 Silverado 2500 from Utah that needs a reverse accumulator solenoid in the transmission. And now I've got this 2012 that's going to need a transfer case. So I'll take you guys along for actually having to do some real work once in a while. But I'm going to wrap this one up here. You finally got to see one where we went start to finish on a truck. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.